Picture a stick figure standing in front of a calendar, holding a single pen. Not a grand plan, not a new year, a new gym, a whole new life. Just today and one small mark on the page. It feels almost too small to matter. We're taught that change should be loud, a dramatic overhaul, a burst of motivation, a before and after we can hardly recognize. So we wait for the perfect Monday, the version of us with endless willpower. And while we wait, nothing moves. But here's the quiet secret most of us miss. The life you want is not built in one heroic leap. It's built in tiny, almost invisible actions, repeated on the ordinary days when no one is watching. So today, let's slow down and talk about the quiet power of small habits. 7 calm truths about how the smallest things become the biggest changes. Here's the thing we usually get wrong about habits. We treat them as a test of willpower, as if people with good habits are simply stronger, more disciplined than the rest of us. So when our motivation fades, as it always eventually does, we decide we've failed and we quietly give up. But habits were never really about willpower. They're about design, about making the right things small, obvious, and easy enough that you barely have to push. The 7 truths we'll walk through are not about forcing yourself harder. They're about working with how change actually happens, slowly, quietly, one repetition at a time. None of them ask you to become a different person overnight. They simply offer a gentler, truer picture of how a small action, repeated, can quietly reshape an entire life. So let's begin, softly, with the first. First truth. Tiny actions compound over time. We badly overestimate what one day can do, and badly underestimate what a year of small days can do. A single push-up changes nothing. One page of a book changes nothing. 5 quiet minutes of practice seem to vanish into the noise of an ordinary day, so we dismiss them as pointless. But this is the exact mistake that keeps us stuck. Small habits don't add up. They compound, the way a tiny deposit quietly grows when it's left alone to gather interest. 1% better today looks like nothing. But repeated day after day, those invisible 1% stack into something you could never have forced in a single afternoon. The results feel sudden only because the growth was silent. You weren't failing in those early days. You were quietly planting. So here's a small practice. Pick one habit you'd love to have, and shrink it down to something almost laughably tiny. 1 push-up, 1 sentence, 1 minute. Then do just that today, and let it be enough. Don't measure it against the far-off result. Trust the quiet math of compounding. You are not behind. You're simply early, on day 1 of a slow climb that adds up more than you can see. Second truth. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. We love to set ambitious goals. The target weight, the finished book, the calm and steady life. Goals have their place, they point us in a direction. But the goal is not what carries you there. On any given day, you don't perform at the level of your hopes. You perform at the level of your hopes. You perform at the level of your habits, the ordinary, repeated things you do without thinking. 2 people can share the same goal. The one who quietly builds the daily system is the one who arrives. So if you keep falling short, the problem is rarely your ambition or your willpower. It's that the small, repeatable system underneath the goal was never put in place. Build the system, and the goal takes care of itself. Try this. Take one goal you care about and stop thinking about the outcome for a moment. Instead, ask a smaller question. What tiny thing, done on most days, would make this almost inevitable? Then design that one repeatable action into your day, after something you already do. Forget the finish line for now. Just tend the small system, and let it carry you while you're not even looking. Third truth. You change by becoming the kind of person who does it. Most of us try to change from the outside and chasing an outcome, a number, a result we can show. But the deepest habits grow from the inside out, from your sense of who you are. There's a quiet difference between saying, "I'm trying to run," and saying, "I'm a runner." Between, "I want to write," and "I'm someone who writes." Each small action is not just progress toward a goal. It's a tiny piece of evidence about who you're becoming. You don't have to wait until you've arrived to claim the identity. You step into it now, and let each small repetition gently prove it true. Decide who you wish to be, and let your habits quietly cast their vote. Here's a gentle shift. Instead of naming what you want to achieve, name who you want to be. A calm person, a reader, someone who moves their body, Then ask, softly, what would that person do in the next 5 minutes? And do that one small thing. Not to reach a far-off goal, but simply to be, today, the person you're quietly becoming. Fourth truth. Make it so small you can't say no. The biggest reason habits fail is that we begin them far too big. Fired up with fresh motivation, we promise an hour at the gym, 30 pages a night, a complete transformation by Friday. It feels wonderful for a day or two. Then life gets heavy, the motivation drains away, and the habit, too large to lift on a tired evening, quietly collapses. The kinder path is the opposite. Make the habit so small, it feels almost silly to skip. 2 minutes. 1 page. A single stretch. On a good day, you'll do more. But on the hard days, the tiny version still gets done, and that's the whole point. A habit only compounds if it survives, and small is what keeps it alive. So today, take whatever habit you've been struggling to keep and cut it down until it can't intimidate you. Not 30 minutes. 2. Not the whole chapter. 1 paragraph. Make the entry point so gentle that even on your most exhausted day you could still say yes. Then do only that. Let showing up in the smallest way become the thing you never break. Fifth truth. Make it obvious and easy by shaping your environment. We like to imagine our choices come purely from within, from focus, from discipline, from strength of character. But far more of our behavior is quietly steered by what surrounds us. We reach for what is closest and most visible, almost without deciding. This is wonderful news, because it means you don't have to win an endless inner battle. You can simply arrange your surroundings so the good habit becomes the path of least resistance. Lay the running shoes by the door. Leave the book on your pillow. Keep the phone in another room. And make the unwanted habits a little harder to reach. Design a space that does some of the work for you. Try this. Pick one good habit and make it more obvious. Set out the gear, leave a visible cue, put it right in your path. Then pick one habit you'd like less of, and add a small layer of friction. Unplug it, hide it, move it out of reach. Change just one thing in your space today, and let your environment quietly nudge you, so you don't rely on willpower alone. Sixth truth. Never miss twice. Here is the truth that quietly rescues almost every habit. You will miss days, life will interrupt you, a late night, an illness, a week that simply falls apart. Perfection is not the goal, and chasing it is how most habits actually die. The real damage is rarely the single missed day. It's the story we tell afterward. I've blown it, I'm hopeless, I might as well stop. 1 missed day is an accident. 2 missed days, and a new habit is quietly forming, the habit of not. So make yourself one gentle rule: never miss twice. Slip once, and that's simply being human. But come back the very next day, however small the return. You only need to refuse to quit 2 days in a row. So, here's a kind one. The next time you miss a day, and you will, drop the guilt and simply make returning the next day non-negotiable. Even the tiny version counts. 1 push-up, 1 line, 1 minute. You're not trying to erase the miss, you're refusing to let it become 2. Missing is human. Returning quickly is the whole skill. Seventh truth. Every repetition is a small vote for who you're becoming. It's easy to feel that 1 quiet rep doesn't matter. 1 walk, 1 healthy meal, 1 page written late at night. On its own, no single repetition visibly changes your life, and that's why we abandon so many of them. But think of each one as a vote, not for today's result, but for the person you are slowly becoming. No single vote decides an election, yet every vote is counted. In the same way, each small action quietly tips the inner balance toward a new identity. The reader, the calm one, the person who follows through. Cast enough small votes, and one morning you'll realize you've quietly become someone new. So here's one last small thing to try. The next time a habit feels too tiny to matter, pause and say to yourself, this is a vote for who I'm becoming. Then cast it. Don't weigh it against the outcome. Just add it gently to the tally. Each quiet rep is the future you, asking to be chosen. Choose it once more today. So let's gather these 7 truths. Tiny actions compound over time. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. You change by becoming the kind of person who does it. Make it so small you can't say no. Make it obvious and easy by shaping your environment. Never miss twice. And every repetition is a small vote for who you're becoming. The thread running through them all is the same gentle idea. That lasting change is not loud or sudden or fueled by endless willpower. It's quiet, tiny, and repeated on the ordinary days when nothing seems to be happening. That's the real power of small habits. Not a gift for the disciplined few, but a single small mark you can make on the page today. There may be a small voice asking, "What if I'm too far behind?" Hear this gently. You don't need to fix everything tonight. You only need one tiny habit, begun today and returned to tomorrow. So choose just one, make it small, and let it carry you. Thank you for spending this quiet time. And take care.